נחמה ואת? כן. טוב, אז היום זה ה-19 באוקטובר 2023, 19 of October 2023, and this is our meeting, perhaps number 283, I'm not sure, of Learn Yiddish and Yiddish Literature online. If I am right, we have with us in our study group, Amy, Nechama, and Vera.
Yes.
These are all the members who came today, right? And I told you before that Shlomo has a problem with his eyes and he cannot read, so I guess that meanwhile he will not come today. Daniel disappeared and he didn't let us to know where it is and why. Netanel was drafted, if I understand, into the army. So we are today continuing reading the letters Sholem Aleichem published in 1907. And the reason why we are reading what Sholem Aleichem called Nishtok Einais, there are no news, is because it fits very ironically our time and the war which is going now in Israel between Hamas and Israel. And Sholem Aleichem, when he calls his literary document Nishtok Einais, he does it really as a literary genius, because the title of these letters means the opposite. It means that there are pogroms in Eastern Europe at the beginning of the 20th century, and because the pogroms are a very regular event with the Jews in Eastern Europe at the beginning of the 20th century, he says there are no news because the pogroms occur all the time. Let's try to continue reading, and we finished last time at the moment when the tailor, the Eastern European Jewish tailor, describes one of those pogroms. Vera, העלית את זה לאקרן?
כן, כן.
אוקיי.
ויש סימן ואני חושבת שכולם רואים.
וכולם רואים. אז נבקש מנחמה לקרוא את המשפט שעוד לא תרגמנו, איפה שהסימן.
אוקיי. Is men Pavolie Arop von die Beudemer?
לא, קודם, המשפט הקודם. Where he describes the pogrom.
Okay. Mir hat noch wehgetan das Herz für mein Weib und für meine Kinder, hab ich sie weggeschickt la Azazel, sie haben sich ganz fein verklieben zu a guten Goy auf den Beuden und seinen dort abgelegen, bekovet 2 Tag mit 2 Nacht, Cholile nicht gegessen, nicht getrunken, nicht geschlafen und erst hat auf den 3. Tag, als sie schon nicht gewöhnt.
רגע, nicht getrunken, nicht gegessen, עד כאן אנחנו קראנו ותרגמנו, ועכשיו את קוראת מה שאנחנו צריכים לתרגם. auf den 3. Tag, מכאן. נחמה, תקראי את המשפט.
Okay. Und erst hat auf den 3. Tag, als sie es bei uns danken Gott, Belahopalutschene.
כן.
Das ist geendigt, Episosatz, ja.
נקודה, אוקיי. Da steht, het auf den 3. Tag. I want to ask you what means here the word het.
Punkt?
No.
Nein? Okay.
No. Vera? Het?
אני לא יודעת.
Okay. Amy?
I think it's some kind of emphasis.
Yes, but the emphasis on what?
That's a good
Okay,
question.
I will tell you.
Okay.
When Shalom Aleichem, when the tailor is describing the pogrom, that they were hidden in a house of a goy and didn't eat, and 2 days they didn't drink and they didn't sleep. On the 3rd day, how is it written in Nechama in Yiddish? With the word het.
Wait, I have to find it. I don't know where I am now. Okay. Und erst het auf den 3. Tag.
Okay. Und erst het auf den 3. Tag. Und erst היינו מתרגמים and just for the first time. Het on 3. Tag. Het means here, if I'm not mistaken, מאוחר ביום השלישי. How can we say in English מאוחר?
Finally?
Not finally, מאוחר.
Belatedly or at the end of the day?
Belatedly on the 3rd day, which means they didn't sleep and they didn't eat, didn't drink 2 days, but also on the 3rd day, not at the beginning of the 3rd day, but het in the Tag. Late on the 3rd day, תמשיכי נחמה.
Yeah, I just want to say, I looked up het in the Weinreif.
Yes.
Okay, het weit is far away.
Okay, it's far
like
away
far
on
away.
the 3rd day. Not at the beginning of the 3rd day, but
Like late in the day.
Right. תמשיכי נחמה.
Um,
ביידיש.
just a minute. Okay. I can't find where I am.
Okay, the 3rd day. Put your finger on the place.
Okay. Und erst hat auf den 3. Tag, als sie schon nicht gewinnt, was zu raben und wemmen zu schlagen.
לתרגם. Lately,
Okay.
on the 3rd day, אסיס שוניש גוון ווס zu raben und wemmen zu schlagen.
When there was already nothing to rob or nothing to
Right.
steal, and nobody to hit, I guess. Schlagen.
Right. So the pogrom in Eastern Europe, which Shalom Aleichem is describing, was not like what happened 2 weeks ago here. But the pogrom in Eastern Europe at the beginning of the 20th century, sie nicht gewesen was zu haben, the Goyim were robbing the houses of the Jews, und women zu schlagen, and there were no more Jews to schlagen, to beat them. And then we make a parallel. 2 weeks ago, Jews here in Israel were shot, were mutilated, their corpses. So if we want and if we don't want, when we compare the description of Shalom Aleichem and what we all know happened here, it is far away more terrible and more vicious. תמשיכי נחמה.
Okay. Is gewollen bei uns, danken Gott, בלוהפולוצ'נה.
כן, ורה הסבירה לנו, אבל אני כבר לא זוכר מה הסבירה, אז תגידי ורה, is gewollen bei uns, so after the third day, at the end of the third day, is gewollen bei uns, ורה?
היה טוב, היה כבר טוב.
זו המילה הרוסית.
כן, בלגפולוצ'נה, אפשר להגיד, היה כבר בסדר.
היה כבר בסדר.
כן.
שוב האירוניה אצל שולם עליכם, אחרי שגנבו והיכו את כל היהודים, היה בסדר.
Es ist aufgehört, like it stopped.
כן.
It was the violence was.
Yes, but Shalom Aleichem doesn't say it's not stopped.
Yeah,
He say it was all right, which is again the ironic humor in the letter of the tailor. המשפט הבא, נחם.
Is men pavolje arop von die Beudemer alle besholem.
תרגום.
They slowly they came down from the roofs
from the roofs, yes.
All alle besholem. I don't want to say all at peace. I don't know what that means. Alle besholem, like in
alle besholem, all those who came down from the hidden cameras on the roof, they went down, all of them in peace, all of them okay. Again, we see the line of irony, of humor, of black humor. They came down the sholem. It's a way of saying the opposite of what happened, because I guess that then, at the beginning of the 20th century, when those Jews who were beaten and robbed went down besholem, as if everything is okay, we know what happened here. What the trauma, the terrible trauma is and was in those 2 weeks of the Black Saturday, 2 weeks ago. I must say, why we know how deep the trauma was here, because those of you, and I guess that Vera and I, because you are not here, Nehama and Amy, we hear radio. I hear, at least, I don't know Vera, I hear radio all the time I can. And I must tell you that there is no end, infinite stories about persons who were in those kibbutzim. You realize suddenly there is almost no family on those kibbutzim who didn't hide. If I am not mistaken, about 28 kibbutzim, and didn't had a trauma, who didn't lost some member of the families. There are entire families who get killed and murdered. And in the radio here in Israel, we hear all those days stories about the traumatic events which people in the kibbutzim went through. I would say that my impression is that there is no single family or person of the kibbutzim who didn't went through a traumatic episode in their lives. And this is unbelievable and very difficult to grasp. But when I hear what happened on Sabbath, October 7, suddenly hearing the reports how many Hamas people crossed the border on that Sabbath, I again have a trauma of myself. I'm not sure if you understand what happened on that Sabbath. Some of you have an idea how many Hamas people crossed the border on that Sabbath? Nehama.
I think I read 2,500
Right.
about.
This is the maximum number we heard in the radio. I don't say that it is like that or not, but hearing what happened in the kibbutzim, hearing that defense groups in the kibbutzim met scores of Hamas people in their kibbutz, not one or two or 10, but 30 attackers. I begin to believe. It's very difficult to understand why it happened, but I begin to believe that the border was crossed by thousands, at least 2,000 Hamas people who had exact orders where to go, each attacker where to go, and what to do. I don't know if you heard that it was found in the equipment of those Hamas people – booklets. where it's described exactly what they have to do, how they have to kill people. It was not an invasion to free territories. It was an invasion to massacre Jews. And that we learn from what they did and from these booklets. And I, as a person, and the Israeli people as persons, couldn't imagine what happened and cannot understand until today. Because this was not a liberation war of the Hamas people. This was an intent of kill Jews, and this is all what they wanted. עד כאן יש שאלות,
אני
commentaries?
רוצה להוסיף משהו.
כן,
קודם כל זה לא היה רק חמאס, הגיעו גם מה שאמרו לנו.
נכון.
הגיעו גם תושבים, אפילו בנעלי בית.
נכון.
בשביל מה? בשביל לשדוד ולהרוג אנשים.
נכון. והם לא פחדו, העזתים האלה, שבאו בלי נשק, אלא רק כדי לגנוב, הם לא פחדו. אז השאלה היא, the question is, what these people of Hamas, not of Gaza, were thinking, that we will not defend ourselves? Or did they think that we are not able to defend ourselves? It's very strange, and I cannot comprehend it.
אנחנו צריכים להבין שיש להם פשוט, איך זה, מוח, הם חושבים אחרת מאיתנו.
נכון.
זה תרבות אחר, ולנו זה אפילו קשה לדמיין מה הם יכולים לחשוב ומה הם יכולים לעשות.
כן. מה שוורה אומרת, יכול להיות שזה מאוד נכון, we cannot guess, we cannot understand, we cannot imagine, Vera says, how the mind of those people from Gaza functions. And because we cannot understand, and because we think very differently, we were surprised. תראו, בזמן השואה, the writer יצחק כצנלסון, while he was in 1944 under the Nazi rule, he wrote, and I'm quoting more or less what he wrote in Pinkas Vitel, which is the memoir he wrote during the war while he was under the Nazi rule. He wrote, why were we annihilated by the Nazis? Why didn't we react in time And why didn't we retaliate the Germans? He asks that question. And the answer he gives is that we were not aware of the, we were not aware of the mentality of the German Nazis. We couldn't imagine, he says, what they were ready to do with us and murder us one after the other. And because we were thinking, we were not able to think like that, because we are not embedded with such a murderous mentality. We couldn't guess that this will happen. And I think that Yitzhak Katzenelson in 1944 said what happened with us today. In order to defend yourself from a massacre which happened 2 weeks ago, you need to have the possibility to understand the mentality of Hamas. But since we are not like that at all, because the Jewish people is, I say, a nation who wants to live in peace with all humanity. We were surprised by a new kind of Nazis. אימי, מה את חושבת על מה שאני אמרתי?
Yeah, I think that's probably it's and even after it happens, it's hard to believe,
Right.
you know. So I think that also speaks to the disbelief that you know, we saw in the monologue of the American Jew who couldn't wrap his head around what was happening in Europe. You know, where he was saying, you know, everything burned. I don't understand. Everything burned. It's gone. It's all
monologue
gone.
played in Yiddish, right? That's
Yeah.
very interesting that you are connecting it, and it's very important what you say. The Jew in New York, the Baal monologue, Amy says exactly that to Zeitlin. You say they were killed? Is it real? Can it be at all? Very, very interesting. I didn't thought about that. נחמה, מה את אומרת על מה שאמרנו עד עכשיו?
Ich will sagen etwas, aber nicht auf ein Video. Efter ich kann schicken einen Brief, ein E-Mail, weil ihr habt gehört wegen von Mark Peretz? No, wait, Peretz? Ich vergesse seinen ersten Namen.
Aman oder Freud?
Aman. Is given after der Gründer oder an editor von the New Republic. Martin Peretz. Martin Peretz. Wohnt in Israel. Ist als Zionist und hat geschrieben etwas oder gesagt etwas, was in der Zeit eine Sache von die Linke haben, gemacht Gewalt von dem, aber eine Sache Menschen wissen nicht, was hat gesagt. Ich will, als ich also sagen...
Wen hat das geschrieben?
Efter in die 80er Jahren, 90er Jahren, kann sein 2000. Ich habe gelesen.
Mit der Sachjung zurück.
Ja, aber was hat gesagt, ist gewesen, oi vavoi, zu sagen, Sach.
Was hat gesagt?
Hat gesagt, als sie,
wer ist sie?
Sie, unsere Söhnin they, now I can't even say it in Yiddish. They schlagen sich allein, was sie willen tun. Es macht nicht aus, die, was wohnen in Gaza, die Palästinenser, sie schlagen sich seine eigene Brüder.
What you say that it is contraproducent.
No, ich sage, als die Menschen, die Chayes, wie ich sage, Chayes, wie man hört, sie sagen, sie schlagen und schlagen, kill, right? Kill, schlagen.
Sie hargenen.
Ihre eigene, das, was mir, also es macht...
Aber das wissen wir.
No, aber das gewinnt als Skandal, wenn in der linken Zeitung...
Peretz hat das gesagt mit mehr als 40 Jahren zurück. Und heutzutage redet man wegen dem, wie sie behandeln ihre eigenen Citizens.
Ja, und viele Egypt und Jordan will nicht gar nicht zu tun, zu helfen, like, it's, I don't know. Ken.
אוקיי. ורה, זהו?
אני יכולה להגיד עוד משהו?
בבקשה.
לא, פשוט היה מקרה היום. הגעתי לחנות קטנה במרכז העיר.
בירושלים.
בירושלים, כן. וסך הכל היו שם שתי נשים, קופאית וזהו. והייתה אישה אחת נחמדה מאוד, אבל היא סיפרה משהו, אני אפילו לא הייתי יכולה להבין, כי היא צעקה כל כך, פשוט, אני לא, היא הייתה מספרת משהו, אבל ככה כל הזמן...
She was excited.
כן. ואני ככה לקחתי מה שהייתי צריכה, הלכתי לקופאית ושאלתי אותה, תגידי, מה עם האישה הזאת? משהו לא בסדר איתה? או מה קרה אולי? אני לא יודעת, אולי היא צריכה עזרה, משהו להזמין, כל מיני, יש פסיכים בירושלים בלי סוף.
במיוחד כשיש טראומה. כן.
כן, אז היא אמרה לי, זאת אישה שהגיעה משדרות. משדרות. אז זהו, אני אמרתי, ככה אפשר הכל. היא יכולה, אולי אפילו זה טוב שהיא צועקת,
נכון.
וזה יוצא ממנה.
כן.
ראיתי כאשר זה היה נורא, נורא.
כן, אני מבין. כשאומרים wenn man sagt, als die ganz Israel ist unter Trauma, das ist eine von den Momenten oder Menschen, was kennen nicht leiden. They are not able to suffer what happened to them, and they go out of their wits. And I guess that we will have, and we have already, as I hear, many problems with the feelings and with the equilibrium, the mental equilibrium today after what happened. Okay. נחמה, המשפט הבא.
השעה 6:37.
כן.
Okay. Und es hat, Baruch Hashem, von unser
Semeistvo.
Okay.
משפחה, semeistvo.
Oh, okay. Das ist ein russisch Wort?
ein russischer Wort.
Aha,
נכון?
okay.
כן.
Dann, keinem nicht geschah. החוץ ליפה, was ist...
רגע. וזאת, תקראי עוד פעם את המשפט.
Und es hat, Baruch Hashem, von unser Semester keinem nicht geschah.
תשמעו, המשפט הזה, oder der Satz, was wir werden bald übersetzen, in Licht von das, was geschieht heute in Israel, ist ein schrecklicher Satz. I would say it in English and then we'll translate. This phrase, Nehama read, on the background of what is happening now in Israel, is a terrible phrase. And now we will translate and explain why is it a terrible phrase. תנסי לתרגם לך.
And it was thank God, or blessed be his name. From our family, nobody was nicht geschat. Nobody was hurt, maybe?
Injured.
Injured, okay.
Yes, it was not it was not bad for anyone of our family. למה אני אומר, why do I say that this sentence is terrible compared with what's happening today? And also with what happened then.
Wel, wir zijn in a kahila.
Wir seien was?
Wir seien in der Kehila, am Mishpoche, zusammen.
Right.
Mir Efter die sein Mishpoche is nicht keinem nicht geschah, aber die Training am Mishpoche dort ja.
Ist meine Frage zu Nechaman und zu Emin und zu Veran. Do you believe, Nechama, that from the phrase the tailor from Eastern Europe said and you read, is he documenting a historical fact, or is it a phrase, a bitter irony? Amy, מה את אומרת?
Can I answer with the thought that I had, like not directly, but
yeah.
it might give light. So I have had this experience over
אני
the
לא
last
שומע
2
אותך,
weeks.
אמי. תדברי יותר גבוה.
Oh,
כן,
sorry.
כן.
I have had this experience over the last 2 weeks where a couple of friends have reached out to me, and they're not Jewish. And what they say is, I'm reaching out to you. Do you have friends or relatives in Israel? In other words, do I know anybody personally?
Yeah.
And there seems to be a blind spot that I'm having a trauma, whether I know anybody in Israel or not, just
Yeah.
because I'm Jewish.
Maybe
you know what I
they
mean?
ask you if you know someone in Israel who was injured.
Yes, they want to know if anybody I know was hurt. That's the important thing.
So if you have not, it's okay.
Yeah, yeah. Like maybe there was a plane crash and they knew that I was expecting somebody in the airport.
Right.
And you know what I mean? And
yes.
and it's so off. Well, that's what this is reminding me of.
Very, very interesting what you say. And what you say combines with what Nechama said. But
Yes.
Nechama said that here in Israel it is so a terrible phrase, because here in Israel we have the sense of community, and it doesn't matter if someone we know was injured or not. But my question goes deeper. Do you think, Nechama, that the tailor of Eastern Europe is saying, thanks God, everything is okay? Do you believe him? Does that mean that the tailor of Eastern Europe do not feel that the Jews in Eastern Europe are a community? Or is it a bitter, ironic saying in the letter? Nechama.
I don't know why Shalom Aleichem wrote this sentence about the thinking of the writer. Everything.
One moment, you say the same thing of the writer. The writer is Shalom Aleichem. What do you mean?
I mean the thinking of the writer of the letter,
the tailor.
like of the tailor, the character. But since he puts the words or the in the letter of the tailor, everything is in hindsight. I guess
everything is what?
To understand something is in hindsight. You know, something
What
happens.
is hindsight? I don't
Something
understand.
happens, and then after it happens, you think about it. And then you can go back and understand it.
Yes, but in the text, I am asking you from the text, can we only understand what you said, or is it another possibility to understand the phrase?
Well,
This is my question.
I just want to say that the sentence continues, right? There was just
No. I am asking about until here. We don't need a continuation at that moment. Okay,
I don't know.
Vera.
He's writing about himself to his friends. So I guess when you write a letter, you start with yourself and your family.
Nechama, okay, so you continue to say that there is only one possibility, which you said before, that he is satisfied, in quotation marks, that nothing happened with those who went down from the hiding place. ורה, מה את אומרת על זה? האם יש עוד דרך להבין את המשפט, ואחרי שתעני לי, אנחנו נבדוק which possibility is the most real from the literary point of view of the text. ורה, מה את אומרת? האם מספיק לך שהטיילור אומר, תודה לאל, הכל איתנו בסדר? ורה?
Oh, we can't.
בגלל זה, בלי קונטקסט, בגלל זה אנחנו לא יכולים להגיד עכשיו מה יש שם.
Okay. So I am taking what Vera says and what Nechama says, and Vera said now a sentence which I don't agree, and I will explain why. Vera said now we have no context for this phrase. And because we have no context for this phrase, we cannot say if there is another meaning to the phrase other than what Nechama said. But this is not true, Vera and Nechama, because we are reading a literary creation, and the context is the literary creation itself. And we saw during the whole meeting today that the text is full of irony and black humor. This is the context. And in a letter which is full of irony and black humor, such a phrase Nechama read must be considered also as a phrase which has a possibility to be understood on a context of irony and black humor. This is not a documentation of a historical event. This is a literary work, and you must take that into account, especially when we speak about Sholem Aleichem. Amy, מה את אומרת? What do you say about what I am saying?
I was actually thinking along those lines. I was thinking about all of the examples before. So I agree that it is another another appearance of the litany, of the ironic understatement and black humor.
So, okay, thank you. I don't say that we must understand the phrase Nechama read as another ironic black humor. But I really say that we cannot not look at it on the context of the text of Shalom Aleichem, although the Taylor writes, in the irony and the black humor. But what Nechama said and what Vera said, that there is no context, and I am not criticizing you, I am only pointing at the fact that Nechama and Vera forgot that we are dealing with a literary work. And if in this literary work we had a lot of examples, and we had, of irony and black humor, why shouldn't we consider the possibility that also the phrase Nechama read can be understood on that context? נחמה, תקראי עוד פעם את המשפט שקראת קודם.
Und es hat, Baruch Hashem, von unser Semester keinem nicht geschah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a comma. It's not the end of the sentence.
תמשיכי אחרי הקומה.
Achutz lipa, was ist geharget geworden mit beide Sinn, Noach und Melech.
עד פה. תרגום.
Achutz lipa.
ליפה זה שם.
Yeah, I know. Achutz. Other than.
Yes, yes.
The lipa. Who died or was murdered with his two sons, Noah and Melech.
Okay, so my question is, who is Lipe? Nechama. The Taylor says, Shalom Aleichem says, go back one line and then you will know who is Lipe. Try to look for yourself and tell me if you can know who is Lippe.
Ich gedenk nicht.
Was gedenkt
der Namen Lippe. Wir haben gelernt.
No. I don't say that Lippe was mentioned before.
Oh.
I say that you have to read the sentence before, because here you have the context to understand who is Lippe.
Well, I don't know. Ich weiß nicht if Lippe's a neighbor.
No, it doesn't. It's not important if you know, you don't know. The text tells you who Lippe is. Vera, האם את יכולה להבין מהטקסט מי זה ליפה?
כן, זה היה בן אדם שגם חבר מאמריקה וגם חבר שלו במזרח אירופה,
לא,
היה
ורה,
מכיר. זה אולי
תלכי עם הטקסט משפט קודם.
מה?
נאמר שם במפורש מי זה ליפה.
ליפה זה שם של בן אדם.
אימי, האם את יכולה להבין מהטקסט עם משפט קודם שקראנו, מי זה ליפה?
I think he would be a member of the Taylor's family.
Why?
Because he says,
you are right. Why?
Because he says no one from our family was, was injured. No one from our family was injured except Lipa and his sons who were killed.
Exactly. So Vera and Nechama, כאשר שולם עליכם נותן לטיילור של איסטרן יורופ, להגיד ברוך השם, הכל בסדר, חוץ, הכל בסדר עם המשפחה שלה, עם הסמסטרו, חוץ מליפה. הוא אומר, he's saying a contradictory saying. Everyone in our family is okay, besides Lipe. So not everyone in our family is okay. So the context is ironic and black humor. Do you agree, Nechama?
Yeah.
Vera?
אולי.
למה אולי? לא הספיק לך הטקסט עצמו, הרי שלום עליכם, הטיילור אומר במפורש.
כן, לא, את זה אני מבינה. מה שזה בלק אני מבינה, אבל למה זה יומור אני לא מבינה.
לא, בלק,
בשבילי זה לא...
לא, זה לא, אני קורא לזה יומור, זה האירוני,
זה
למה זה בלק?
עצוב לדעתי, הוא מספר מה היה, וזה היה נורא עצוב. חלק מהמשפחה נשארו בסדר, ומישהו מהמשפחה, חלק נהרג. זהו. איזה יומור זה? זה נורא עצוב.
לא, תעזבי את המילה יומור. העניין הוא שהוא אומר דבר והיפוכו. He is contradicting himself. כי הוא אומר, כשהוא אומר את הסמסטרו, תקראי ורה את המשפט עם הסמסטרו. ביידיש.
כן.
תקראי. ברוך השם.
כן. ונס זכות, ברוך...
לא, אל תספרי לנו. תקראי את הטקסט.
כן. ברוך השם, unser Semester keinem nicht geschart.
עד פה. אז הוא אומר במפורש, bless God, in our family no one was hurt. ואז הוא אומר, פרט לליפה. זה ההומור. אם את לא רוצה לקרוא לו הומור, תקראי לזה אירוני. של שלום עליכם. הטיילור של איסטרן יורופ לא מבין שהוא אומר דבר והיפוכו. זאת התרומה של שלום עליכם. The mentality of the tailor of Eastern Europe is not sharp enough to understand that he even does not grasp the tragedy of his family. And this is Sholem Aleichem. זה התרומה של שולם עליכם. זה הערך הספרותי של הטקסט. because הטקסט הוא ספרותי, ולא דוקומנטציה היסטורית. אנחנו, כ-members of a study group, must switch in our mind that we are dealing with literature and not with a historical document. Literature, which is a historical document, but in a very different mood. The text himself is not a historical document. The literary creation is a historical document. What I'm trying to say very delicately is that Nechama and Vera, in order to understand the whole meaning of Sholem Aleichem epistolary interchange that Nehama and Vera, for a moment, forgot that we are dealing with literature and not with a historical document, but a literary document. And I can understand why I am criticizing, in quotation marks, Nehama and Vera. Because it's very difficult for us as readers to discern the deep difference between a historical document and a literary document, and even more a literary document who has a historical importance. נחמה, המשפט הבא.
Kann ich sagen, ein Sach, Shalom Aleichem style mit die Charakteren.
Rega, that's your comment?
Yeah, no, I want to say something about Baruch Hashem.
So say that because I said read and I thought that you are reading.
No, I want to say something.
So please say it.
Yeah, I mean, there's first, the tailor, der Schneider darf geben Kobit zu Gott. As kedei zu geben Kobit zu Gott, und zu danken Gott, darf schreiben etwas positiv, ja? Kedei zu sagen Baruch Hashem.
Nehama, you are trying to describe the mentality of the tailor.
Und
right?
Shalom Aleichem ist berühmt wie Volksschreiber. Schreibt für die Volk, wegen der Volk. Und sie haben gegeben fromm und gegeben Covid und bedanken Gott und gesagt Satzen von Teure und afilu Tevye der Milchker hat gesagt ein Sach und like on the one hand and on the other hand.
Right. Okay, so what you are saying, Nehama, is very correct. And what we learn from what you said is that when Shalom Aleichem puts in the mouth of the tailor of Eastern Europe the words and the tale what happened from the point of view of the mentality of the tailor of Eastern Europe, he does a double, I would say, a double mission. From one side, the letter of the tailor of Eastern Europe must reflect the folk's mentality. It cannot reflect completely what Sholem Aleichem knows. So Nehama says, Baruch Hashem, etc. He must write like that. But at the same time, Sholem Aleichem must tell the reader what really happened in the pogrom. And in the pogrom happened the same thing which happened today in Israel. Also in the pogrom in Eastern Europe, there were members of the family of the tailor injured. And how can the tailor say that without thanking God that he and other members of his family were not injured? So the writer, Sholem Aleichem, must put in the letter a contradiction. From one side, the tailor of Eastern Europe thanks God and says that the family went without being injured. But from the other side, he must let the tailor of Eastern Europe say the truth of what a pogrom is, like in Israel today. There are casualties also in families who survived. But you must take into account that what happened in Israel 2 weeks ago was even worse, because I don't remember that when Sholem Aleichem describes a pogrom in Eastern Europe at the beginning of the 20th century, he describes something like what happened in Israel in the last 2 weeks. We hear in the radio again and again that whole families, 4, 5, 6 members, were killed together in a shelter.
Kan ich sagen etwas?
Ken.
Ich kann verbinden mit was tut sich in Israel und
Okay.
Es ist nicht, it's very hard for me to say, aber ich habe gehört auf ein News, auf ein Television, ein Vater hat geredet auf Englisch von einer Kibbutz und sein after 7 Jahre Tochter ist gestorben.
Ist gehargert geworden.
Gehargert geworden, ja. Und hat nicht gesagt, Baruch Hashem, wir stammen, ist nicht fromm, aber ist ein Zionist. Und es
gibt... euch ist fromm, wird nicht sagen, Baruch Hashem. Oder es seien doch religiöse Menschen, was ja sagen, aber kann euch nicht sagen.
Ja, ich sage auf Englisch, thank God. Das, right? Ich sage, ich bin nicht fromm, ich bin traditionell. Ich sage, thank God. Und es gewinnt für mir sehr schrecklich zu hören und zu trachten wegen dem, weil, sorry, my phone's ringing. Okay, it's going to go into voicemail. Und hat gesagt, dass ist bedanken, als sie ist gehargert geworden und nicht weggeschickt kein Gaza wie Hostage.
Right.
Und ich habe getracht wegen beide Situationen und ich kann nicht, es gewinnt sehr schwer sehr schwer, yeah, yes, sad, sehr romantic.
Was hat gewollt sagen, der Vater, ist, hat das nicht gesagt, weil das ist schrecklich, wie sagt, als in Gaza die Situation von seiner Tochter wollte gekannt sein, also wie die Situation von ein paar israelische Menschen, was gefunden sich in Gaza schon 10 Jahre. Okay? Wir wissen, also seine voran Prisoners von Israel in Gaza, was werden nicht zurückgeschickt in den letzten 10 Jahren. Und sehen dann noch Situationen für Menschen, die befinden sich in Gaza, speziell ob sie seinen Freuen. Ich meine, als das hat der Vater gemeint. כן. עוד משפט?
השעה 7:11.
נחמה, משפט הבא.
Sure, maybe Amy or Vera want to read a little bit?
Okay.
Okay.
I accept your proposal because you read enough and we have to make it more democratic. כן. Amy, משפט הבא.
Okay, let's see. Chutz Lipa, was ist geharget geworden mit beide Sinn, Noach und Melach, gildene zwei Arbeiter. Und Chutz Moshe Herrschen, was man hat dem Mechila abgelost von dem Beidem. Und Perl Dvoires hat man schon später gefunden a Teute, Tage bei See in Keller und a Breckelkind.
Tage
bei See in Keller.
Bei See in Keller. One moment, until here.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that it's a very long sentence. Do you know what I mean? I think it's interesting that it's such a long sentence.
Yes, why do you think? Yes, there is a reason, yes.
It's like spilling out all of the this is what happened to this one and that one and this one and that one. All of the terrible things spilling out one after another, yes, with no
compared with Baruch Hashem, that the semester, the family, is okay. So we see that the context is a context of black humor, of irony, and that the possibility that Sholem Aleichem is really describing that the family was not saved and that a lot of people were injured. I think that the tailor is naming some 5 or 6 casualties. And how can you say that the semester, thanks God, was not injured? Okay.
I feel like the long sentence is sort of like a form, you know, that adds to the understanding of the meaning.
Has to be understand, huh?
That it's sort of like a way to use form to also add to the meaning.
Right.
You know, let's make this a very long run-on sentence of all of the atrocities with no end. Okay, sorry. Let's see.
No, I am saying sorry. Okay.
Oh no. Okay. Funem Boydem. Okay. Oh yeah, I already did her. Taka bei See in Keller und a Breckelkind ihrs Resele hat me gefunden bei der Brust. That's mostly the sentence.
Okay, so it's evident, before we translate, it's evident that compared with the Baruch Hashem that the semester, the family was not injured, we have here, if I'm not mistaken, some 8 or 9 casualties, which is clear that the meaning is that the pogrom was a real pogrom and the casualties were a lot of casualties, and that the way to saying Baruch Hashem, as Nechama said, is a way of peoplehood, of a mentality of the tailor, but not by Sholem Alech. Now we'll try to begin to translate.
So let's see.
Read
so
2 or 3 words.
Okay. Let's see. Where am I here? Oh. Achutz Moshe herrschen, was me hat dem Mechila herabgelost von dem Beudem. So, and
what does it mean?
And except Moshe Hersh,
except Moshe Hersh, which
was
yes,
Mechila, who they pulled down from the attic.
Why says the tailor the word mechile? What does it mean?
I think it means forgiveness.
Forgiveness for whom?
For him to be saying, for him to be putting this into words to describe, maybe. In other words, excuse me for saying that I have to say this terrible thing.
Yes, but that's excuse me, but not for saying, but maybe for the fact that they let him down and then he died. Then he was murdered.
Oh. Maybe. Oh, okay. I didn't understand the action then. Oh, okay.
Because now what you read, the Sholem Aleichem is giving what happened with all the casualties of the family, perhaps. All those who were hidden in the place of the goy.
Right.
Tamshich.
And Peril Dvoira hat man schon später gefunden at heute. So was found later dead.
Who was found dead?
Peril Dvoira.
Ken. Mishei Beshem Dvoire. But we should understand that he is speaking about the members of the family. Because he says,
right.
Baruch Hashem, the semestro was not injured, except, and then the whole list. The except relates all these people to the semestro, to the family. Okay.
Takabaze in Keller.
So they found Dvoire dead by Zay, which means in the place where they were hiding.
Right. In the cellar.
Yeah.
מה זה בעברית?
מה זה מה, ורה?
מה זה בעברית, in קלר?
מרתף, סלר. כן.
אתה הבטחת לתרגם לעברית, אבל אתה לא...
כן, אני הבטחתי, אני אשתדל, אבל אנחנו גם צריכים להתקדם, אז מה שלא ברור, אם אני לא מתרגם,
אני שואלת.
אז שואלים כמו שאת שואלת ואני מסביר. כן, הלאה.
On a Breckelkind ears, Rezele hat mir gefunden bei der Brust. And a tiny child, one of her tiny children, Rezela, they found at her breast.
And I must say, נשתוק נייס, דברים כאלה קרו גם בשבועיים האלה, פה, במדינת ישראל. הם רצחו ילדים ותינוקות ונשים בהיריון. נשתוק נייס. תמשיך לתרגם.
Let's see, Krugom. Krugom? I don't know what that word is.
אפשר das ist ein Gesprochenamen Krugom, weil weiter, ja, lehn weiter, ja.
תקראי כמה מילים, כן.
Krugom schön mit kleine Kinder seinen von unser Semester.
הנה, פה הוא אומר את זה במפורש, שכנראה קרוגון, כמו שנחם אומר את זה משם משפחה, משפחת קרוגון עם הילדים, זיינן פון אונזר סמסטרו, הם שייכים למשפחה שלנו, שקודם אמרתי ברוך השם, שלא קרה להם שום דבר רע. כן.
אני רוצה להגיד שקרוגום, קרוגום זה מילה ברוסית.
זה מה? לא הבנתי.
קרוגום.
זאת מילה ברוסית.
כן, מה הפירוש?
הפירוש מסביב, שהוא מספר על מה שהיה בסביבתו.
לא, זה ברור, אבל הפירוש המילולי של המילה קרוגון.
אז אני אומרת, קרוגום זה מסביב.
אז זה לא שם משפחה, זה חשוב להגיד, אז נחמה לא צדקה.
אוקיי, אנשולדק מיר.
אוקיי, קרוגון הוא מסביב, למה מסביב? אני שואל, ורה, למה הוא אומר מסביב?
כי הוא מספר על המשפחה הגדולה. אשתו וילדים היו בבוידם, אבל היו בני משפחה שלא היו בבוידם.
נכון. קרוגון, by the way, בקשר למה שקרה למשפחה המצומצמת שלנו, תמשיך עם אימי, כן.
Let's see, schön mit kleine Kinder. Let's see, already with little children, seinen von unser
Semester.
Heißt das this is so, okay, seinen von unser Semester heißt es geharget geworden, Sache kol 7. Oh, with the little, so in other words, he's counting up everybody now, including the little children.
He makes a summary.
A summary. Altogether, 7 were killed in the family.
So.
I think that's what it is.
Now we understand when the tailor of Eastern Europe says Baruch Hashem, there were no injury. This is on the background of the literary text, the irony Sholem Aleichem builds into the text. כן. עוד משפט, אימי.
Nor wie sagt Getzia Gamzo Letova.
Now he closes the irony. Ken.
Yeah.
Right. No, wie sagt Getzia Gamzo Letova.
Also, this is for the best. It could be worse.
Right.
Besser hat kein Schier nicht.
תרגום.
There's no limit to what could be better.
Right. That's terrible. That's
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
That's so sharp. And
Yeah.
this is Shalom Aleichem, of course, I guess.
Yeah.
עוד משפט?
Auf Herscheln fragst du? Sei ruhig, sitzt schon höher halb Jahr einer allein ohne a Knellung in Torme.
אוקיי. תנסי לתרגם.
You ask about Herschel, rest your mind, rest easy, or be restful, be calm.
Right.
He's sitting already a year and a half, no, a half
Ohne
a year.
Knellung.
Ohne Knellung means, I looked this up.
Right.
It's, so it means, where did I write this? Ohne Knellung. Means, well, a Knellung is like a teaching position. But on a
teaching
job, like job, but on a Knellung, I think
without
I read that it's
a teaching job.
Yeah, without a living.
So what he was asked was about a teacher.
Okay.
Of little children who learn perhaps Torah. So he's a melamed.
Okay.
Okay.
But he's sitting in jail.
He's
in
Torma. Okay.
Farvos. Mistomme der was hat geguckt, wie, this part is confusing. Is that Kohanim?
סליחה, קודם תקראי את מה שכתוב.
Okay. Okay, so he's in Torma. Farvos. Why? Why is he in jail? Mistoma der Far, probably because was hat geguckt, he looked.
No, finish the whole sentence, then we'll translate.
Okay. I'm trying to keep track. Was hat geguckt, wie
כהנים?
wie Kohanim, כן.
Dochenen?
In the synagogue, כן.
Okay. Wie Kohanim dochenen?
Wie Kohanim duchenen. How the Kohanim in the synagogue are praying. But finish the sentence because you cannot keep track word by word. Okay.
Okay. Wie Kohanim duchenen, sis Sabara? I don't know. I think it's Aramaic. Samech Beis Reish Aleph.
Siza svore.
Svore. What's svore?
Not finish the sentence.
Okay. As mevet im geben feinem kibbud, oder mevet im hängen, oder mevet im schießen.
Zeu, until here. Until here.
Okay.
Okay, because the sentence is long and a little bit complicated, because we need to explain many things, we'll stop here, make a sign. We reached until this long sentence.
Okay.
And if there is a question, I'll answer, and if not, we'll stop here.
I have one question about
Yes.
something from I think the previous.
Yes.
If maybe Vera can bring it up. I can't remember what I didn't understand.
כן, מה השאלה?
Vera, can you bring up please the text? Okay. I'm not going to find it. A little bit up more. Sorry, I didn't write it down.
So
okay,
maybe
I'll write it down for next week or something I didn't understand.
Write it down for the next week.
Okay.
So, עוד מישהו רוצה לשאול משהו? We will stop here and we'll meet Monday.
Ashenim Dank.
Thank you very much. I must say only that reading